Well, welcome to episode 1 of From Addiction to Freedom. My name's Michael Gregory. I'm your host, and this is just really a bit of a kind of an intro into, I guess, the vision for the podcast stroke YouTube channel and our blog. So just very briefly about me. Oh, by the way, this is Debora. Sorry, so very rude. Debora and I work together, and so I've asked her to be here as not only moral support, but she's the brains. She's going to ask the intelligent questions. So for many years, I've been helping people with addiction, and the core of that is the discovery, in a way, realization of a technique that helps people really make their craving disappear, their mental cravings, and also retrain their brain so that they just don't get those cravings anymore around that particular addiction. So I've been doing that for many, many years, and obviously, I don't specialise in every addiction. However, I see that there's all these specific addictions, right? Let's say quitting smoking. I would call worrying an addiction. It could be like addicted to sugar or some other drugs, food. It could be codependency and love addiction. Could be jealousy, or it could be, narcissism. That's kind of an addiction, isn't it? So an extreme form of the addiction we all have, which is our addiction to ourselves. And wherever we have an addiction, that's a lack of freedom, isn't it, in our life? So it means it's a lack of choice. It's a lack of our ability to freely move and respond to the situation, because we're actually responding from a kind of programmed way. So we're not free. We're not actually present. So that's what I'd like to explore. And I'm calling it a journey from addiction to freedom.
So, Michael, I'm curious to know then, where does the podcast fit in? Like, how are you seeing
that working? Well, I guess the short answer is I don't know. But that's okay.
Fair enough.
Because, it's like a journey. So we can have our initial kind of inclination, but then we'll just see how it goes, where it goes, depending on, who comes along. So there'll be, essentially, I'm curious to learn from other people, what their perspective is, what your perspective is. And obviously that's a mutual conversation, because I've got things to contribute as well. But I'm also really open to how does that work? And I'm always looking for the truth of a situation. So there'll be some episodes where I'll be sharing some thoughts on a topic, and other episodes where I'll be interviewing someone who's an expert in their area. And maybe I'll also people who have had their own personal journey from addiction to freedom.
Okay, and what are you hoping your listeners will get out of this?
Well, really, let's go macro for a sec, big picture. Mm-hmm. There's all sorts of problems in our life, in our families, relationships, in our society, in the world. And there's a lot of people trying to solve all those problems at different levels, whether it be, with a particular solution to a particular problem, or in a professional capacity, or someone trying to solve that problem in their life by learning something more, or from a government point of view, trying to put things in place across the board. And there's also, people who are, in a way, influencing people en masse. So where I'd like to focus is, well, if we could be more aware in general and be freer with our choices, more aware of what makes us happy, because I have a belief that when you're seeking happiness, unless, like, more and more the closer you get to more satisfying it becomes, it's more in line with peace. And peace and happiness, satisfaction, love, they all go together. And people, everyone's on somewhere along that journey. I mean, whether you're trying to gain happiness by pursuing a certain, persona, like a certain status, or whether it be trying to accumulate objects or wealth or learning, everyone's doing what they're doing in order to gain their own satisfaction. For me, I think like I said, the ultimate satisfaction is peace. I'm not saying those other things, I'm not invalidating anybody where they're at, but I would like to be part of a conversation and a journey from a place of a lack of freedom to a place of real freedom, which is in terms of real personal peace. Because I think if we're coming from that point of view, peace and love actually they're one and the same thing. And love is not so much about yourself, it's inclusive. It's about everybody. And if we were to approach problems from that point of view, if more people were doing that, then I think we'd find more mutually agreeable solutions. So that's the macro view, is to contribute to that outcome as well. So, but along the way, I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. It's fun. That's the whole thing. It's an unfolding journey, both my own personal, and I'm sure there'll be a community that will actually contribute and own that conversation as well. Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for the question. Yeah. Well, I think probably, we've really achieved what we wanted to achieve from this episode. Mm-hmm. So look forward to sharing the next episode with you. Bye for now.